Hi everybody, I'm Hector Garcia, CPA, and I'm very excited to talk about the Intuit ProAdvisor Academy. I'll go ahead and put this URL in the description below so you can go straight to it. You can also access it from your Intuit Accountant Suite or your QuickBooks Online Accountant by clicking on Apps and then going down to where it says ProAdvisor, clicking on that and clicking on ProAdvisor Training. That will take you straight into the ProAdvisor Academy. When you first log in, if you're not certified on anything, you'll go into My History. And in My History, it will say completed programs, no certifications earned. Okay, so that's how everybody kind of starts from scratch. They haven't been certified on anything. Under Programs, this is where you can browse all the different options of different training programs that QuickBooks has for you. So we have one called Client Advisory Services Foundation. You can enroll in that. There's Intuit Enterprise Suite certification, which actually we're going to do a deep dive on that one. Intuit bookkeeping certification, Intuit Online certification level 1, certification level 2, which requires for you to pass level 1. So this is the only one that has sort of that requirement. So those are what they're calling the programs that are under foundation. And then under specialty, they got more specialized programs like QuickBooks Online Payroll, QuickBooks Desktop Certification, and QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise Certification, which requires you to be desktop certified in order to have access to the Enterprise Edition. So a lot of options here or different training programs that you can have. Next to each program, it tells you about how many hours it would take more or less to go through the program. So you kind of will know. Everything here is self-paced, like you don't have to take any live classes, physically go in person or attend webinars, even though every once in a while they do live webinars on these things. But everything here is self-paced. So you want to get certified in any of these, you're going to have to sit down and do this on your own. So let's talk about the Intuit Enterprise Suite certification. One thing that's kind of interesting about this is that it doesn't require for you to be a QuickBooks Online Level 1 certified, which I find interesting because Intuit Enterprise Suite is based on QuickBooks Online. So I haven't looked at this yet. I'm reacting to this as I see it for the very first time. So if that's the case, it's a bit short-sighted because you should know QuickBooks Online first before you get into Intuit Enterprise Suite. Because a lot of the fundamental accounting stuff, like journal entries and reports and banking and stuff like that, that will be covered on the QuickBooks Online certification. In many ways, I kind of feel that it should be QuickBooks Online certification level 1, then QuickBooks Online certification level 2, and then once you pass level 2, you should go to Intuit Enterprise Suite. That's how I feel the progression should go, but that's not what they're going with. So one of my worries is that there will be some basic QuickBooks Online type training in it, and I'll let you know at the end after I take the whole thing. You're not gonna watch me 4 or 5 hours do this, right? So I'm gonna fast forward that. If I click on more details, I go into a kind of a drill down of the screen. There's an introductory video here. Okay, it's 35 seconds, so that's pretty quick. It kind of talks about what Intuit Enterprise Suite is, which is a version of QuickBooks, not marketed like that though, but it's a version of QuickBooks that's for the larger clients, the ones that have outgrown QuickBooks Online. And it kind of breaks down each module. So we have using projects, business intelligence, which is reports, working with multi-entities, and introduction to Enterprise Suite. So I wonder if in the introduction section, you're going to have some of the more basic QuickBooks Online accounting fundamental stuff. So we'll see. Let's click on enroll first. So we're enrolled into the program. And by the way, I haven't put a credit card in. I'm not paying for this. As far as I know, everything in here is free. As far as I know, I haven't gotten to the point where it has stopped me to make a payment somewhere. So my progress bar right here shows me that I haven't done anything. And then let's go to introduction to Intuit Enterprise Suite. Click on start and kind of see what that looks like. So I'll give you a quick rating, kind of what I think about it as I watch, as I read. Okay, so the first thing you see is this pop-up. You have a button here for course content. I think that's important because that way you can kind of see if there's a table of contents, and it doesn't seem to be very useful. And you could go straight into the exam. Okay, it's a prerequisite, so I can't go straight to the exam yet. Let's go back to overview. Okay, that wasn't that useful. So that's not that useful. Then I have next lesson, which I think that's a place I'm going to be clicking quite a bit. And then there's a full screen button. Let's click on that. So I want to be on full screen. Let's click on resume where I left off. and then we should be back in lesson 1. Okay, yes. Okay, so there's a bunch of reading. There's a minute 48-second video. There's a transcript. Okay, so you can see exactly what came in the video. If you're better at reading than watching videos, that's an option. Let me hit pause here. Okay, then we have learning goals. Okay, set up here. The fine print, and then there's a glossary of terms, and there's a little link for that. That's pretty interesting. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, it's a PDF document. That's pretty nice. The ProAdvisor Academy glossary. These are all basic accounting terms. Love this. Let me search for reconcile. Let's see if that's in there. Yeah, the word reconcile is in there 8 times. So I assume it's just going to explain basic concepts. This is pretty neat. It's 23 pages. If you have a brand new employee, I would kind of quiz them on this. This could also be something you can use to test people's accounting knowledge or general QuickBooks knowledge. So this content is super useful. And maybe I'll do another video where I kind of grab this and teach you how to create with AI good onboarding interview test or something like that. Maybe we can work on that later on, see if we can be inspired by that. So we have screenshots may differ, basically telling me that when they take the screenshots, that's when what they had, and then new versions can change that. Optimize for desktop, that means that it's not going to work really well on an iPad or on a phone. The course is for informational purposes only, so it's not legal advice. Okay, fine. And then we have the products and feature disclaimer, a disclaimer for each one of these products. I'm not going to get into that, but that's good enough. Okay, so then I'm going to go to the next lesson here. And okay, what is my prerequisite? I'm not sure exactly what I'm supposed to do now. Okay, so somewhere select the forward arrow to continue. Oh, I got to go down here to next. Okay, that's interesting. Let's click on that. About the certification. Okay, fine. Let's click on the next button. Okay, so kind of an introduction of what they're going to cover. So they're starting to discuss what they're going to cover. So I'm actually going to go through this. I know Intuit Enterprise Suite very well, so I may not have to go through all this. I just want to get to the test. Okay, here are some questions. I'm not sure if this is the test. I think these are more like little breaks in your learning to do a knowledge check. And when you get the question wrong, it will kind of give you some feedback so you can correct yourself. It's pretty cool. You have some additional PDFs you can download. So you can print some of these things that could be useful too. I know some people like to have printed stuff with this is like a worksheet that was in the middle of the lesson. So that's pretty interesting. It's really well thought of to give us little printable things. Okay, so I finished clicking on things and scrolling up and down and reading some of the stuff. And then I was able to go to the exam. One feedback I will give Intuit is give me the ability to go straight to taking the exam, because maybe a person like me doesn't have time to click around and look at things. And again, I might not be a good representation of the average. A lot of people have never even seen Intuit Enterprise Suite, but I wish I could go straight to the exam. But that's okay. It wasn't that painful. So let me go through the exam. So I failed the first time. Interesting enough, none of the questions were about how to actually use the program. Mostly were kind of like how to sell the program, or like in what situation the customer would be a best fit for Intuit Enterprise Suite, or what talking points about what the AI does or doesn't do match the answer. So let me take the exam one more time. So it's my second attempt and I got a 60%. I don't know what the maximum amount of times that you can take it. So I don't know if maybe after one more, I will get locked out. Who knows? But I'll retake the exam one more time. The third time's the charm. And to be fair, I kind of sped through some of the training. So my recommendation to you is, even if you think you know this very well, and I think I know the software very well, actually worked in the software, some of these questions are not, again, they're not about how much of the software do you know. It's how much of the terminology and concepts they presented you know. So let's go for this. Third time's the charm. Woohoo! Third time's the charm. Passed it. So I'm going to send some feedback here. Actually, no, forget the feedback. I don't have time for this. This video is the feedback. Okay, let's get out of here. Let's exit and let's see what it looks like once I finish one piece. And it says completed. So one thing that I'll add to this is I took the exam 3 times and I only saw 2 or 3 questions repeat. So when you take the questions over and over, there is some variance. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of it, get fully certified, and then get back with you and give you the final thoughts. All right, I passed my last exam. I'm going to X out of that. Now it shows everything completed. I can go back and review it if I want to. And I assume that if I go back into programs, it will say completed. Yeah, you already earned this badge. Let's go into my hub and see if my badge shows somewhere. There we go. Congratulations, you have learned Intuit Enterprise Suite. Download your badge and certificate now. Let me click on that. And look, what a beautiful thing. Intuit Enterprise Suite certification. It has a public website, so I can give that to someone if they wanted to, make sure that that I am certified for real. I can click on celebrate here. Okay, and I get a little confetti. All right, I guess that's a celebration. Let's go back into here, and I can post it in my socials here. So let me go here in LinkedIn and click on post. Boom. So now I made it public. Let all my LinkedIn people know that that happened. And that's it. That's the process. Realistically, it took me, I'll say 2.5 hours, and I'm a pretty advanced user. One thing I do want to add is I'm not a big fan of the fact that as a standard user, I don't have access to being able to play with Intuit Enterprise Suite. Like there isn't a test file, a play file that's available. The closest thing is, and I'll put a link on the description for this too, is they have this thing called Take a Product Tour. And when I click on Take a Product Tour, it takes me to this screen where I can just click on next, and it kind of walks me through all the different options, right? So like I just keep clicking next, and it shows me all the screens. But I can't really click on any specific things if I want to play with it. So that's my only criticism I have towards it, is I not yet see the ability to play with the software. So I'm taking this exam without truly being able to play with it. That being said, I am going to run a course. I'm going to put a link in the description, a complete walkthrough of the software. I happen to have Intuit Enterprise Suite, and I'm going through the process of implementing it through all of my businesses. So I'll be using these company files to do the full demo, the full tutorial, the full training program. So I'm excited about that. But for the time being, you don't need to take any courses to get certified. All you have to do is watch the little videos they have in there and read all the information, take the test, and you can get certified without actually using the software. But if you want to use the software because you're an accounting professional that wants to serve other clients, or maybe you are a business that just started using this and you really want to learn the software in depth, then take my course. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.